Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, to all my writers and weirdos out there. I am KibbyRose. I am Authortubes lesbian psychic stoner. It is Friday, May 9th, 2025. Friday, it has been a week. I woke up with a head cold. Dayquil is my best friend today, but I'm still here. I'm getting work done. And yeah, we've got a couple things to rant about and a couple things to talk about. So, we're just going to dive right into it because I'm so used to doing an opener that I still do that little intro like I have to do an opener. And one of these days I will get used to the fact that I don't have to do an opener anymore. But anyway, couple fun announcements coming up. I have decided to reduce some of the hard drive usage, and I'm going to be posting just rants versions of all of my live streams, starting from the oldest and moving on up. Recording them and downloading them and saving them onto my hard drive with the timers included has, yeah, it's been quite a big chunk of memory. So I have been going through slowly and deleting all the timers, and we're going to be uploading them as just rants because I also refer to a lot of the conversations that I talk about from the past in current conversations, and I figure this will be an easier way to have you guys listen. I started this project a little ways back, but I had to stop simply because I didn't have I didn't have the memory storage or the hard drive storage in order to be able to do it. Now I do. Now we're moving forward. So you're going to see a couple of you're going to see some things change around on my channel, including some new playlists. You're going to watch some videos disappear. You're going to see some new videos get added. The old rants, I'm going to be uploading them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we're going to live stream currents Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then every Tuesday and Thursday I'm going to be uploading the just rants versions starting from my oldest to my newest. I've already started recording reaction videos to some of these simply because I forgot that I had recorded such as the After the Shuffle episode that I don't think is available anymore, that I did with Cora and a couple other people. I thought it would be fun to kind of go back and react to that stuff. I haven't the first time I ever showed up on Savvy Wright's book or the Morning Guru channel, which I figured I would react to. So and those were like 3 or 4 years ago, guys. So I figured it would be a little bit fun, and it kind of has been. Rewatching them, I'm like, wow, I've kind of gotten a lot more comfortable behind the camera, haven't I? Doing this for quite some time does actually make a difference. So look forward to that. We still have the Dance Moms reaction videos coming up with the whole new reaction channel that's coming up. Everybody out there, I don't care if you're religious or not, say a little prayer for Cora. She was in the hospital today. She is in recovery right now. Life is handing her some major curveball karmas, but the truth is she's strong. She's going to get through it. And if this is the max amount of karma that she has to deal with for this year, considering what is happening to everyone else, we'll just say a little prayer for her that she is going to heal well and I will let her share everything on her channel, which I need to link her channel down below in my comments, but which I'm going to do. Note to self, link Cora's channel. Okay. And that's with ADHD, neurodivergency. Yes, that's how we remember things. We write them down. Do we have lists everywhere? You actually have no idea how many actual lists I have. Anyway, on another happy note, I got to have a little bit of fun this weekend well, it was my weekend. Okay. Tuesdays, my days off, Tuesdays and Thursdays, my days off are my weekend. Anyway, as I shared on my previous episodes, I had gone to Victoria's Secret, gotten some stuff, got the wrong perfume. So I went back and I returned the perfume and got the right perfume. Well, it just so happens that A, I had a coupon, and B, they were having a sale. And so I ended up getting 3 for 1. And not only did I get 3 for 1, but guys, I got 5 more pairs of underwear and I only paid 5 cents. And she did the math. We looked at the math. Because I was even questionable when I was just like, are you sure it's only 5 cents that I owe? And she was like, yes, it is. So, but yeah, I got all 3 of my faves. And this is going to prove how old school, how old I am. You guys, okay? This is about to reveal my age if you know anything about Victoria's Secret and their perfumes. Okay. So my first favorite scent, Heavenly. And I got it with a little bit of the sparkle to it, which is one I've wanted to get. My second favorite is the Very Sexy, and it's the original Very Sexy, not whatever these other Very Sexy versions are. And then my third favorite is let's see if this will pick up. It's the Bombshell. Are you going to pick up or are you going to act like you're too bright? Don't focus on me. It's not going to show up. Okay. So, well, it's not very well, but it is the Bombshell perfume from Victoria's Secret. This is, so my day version, my night going out version, and then my business day version. Okay. So casual going out shopping, having fun with friends version, business daytime version, going out and being sexy version. So yes, I have different scents for different versions of me, but I'm super stoked because it's been quite some time since I've been able to get the Bombshell. Number one, because they're usually sold out of the original Bombshell, which is the one I love. And they actually had it this time. And second of all, they usually have like buy one, get one free. And this time it was buy one, get 2 free. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I ended up having, so I think I've spent like $120 at Victoria's Secret, and I have 10 pairs of underwear, 4 new bras, and 3 new perfumes. And I was like, if my memory serves me correctly, I'm like, that's pretty good for Victoria's Secret. Like, that's pretty good for Victoria's Secret. Am I complaining? No. Am I super stoked? Yes. Do I think that my angels led me there for a reason? Because I've been complaining for a while that I needed some new underwear. Yes. Do I believe in manifestation? Absolutely. However, I really wish it would work for the couple $1 million that I keep trying to manifest every morning. Still no luck in that one yet. Anyway, so before we jump into our 10-minute sprint which guys, I have not prepped the timers. I have not prepped our screens. I was working literally up until 4:30 and went, oh yeah, I have to stream today. And jumped in here. So you're lucky you're getting what you're getting. So we're going to mute this real quick and we're going to set this up to go into a sprint. And then I'm going to go into the comment section because I see Miss Cora. I miss Miss Cora. Hello, my dear. Hey, girl, sitting in the hospital. I just was saying that everybody needs to pray for you. Be in and out, calling people. It's been a long day. I know it's been a long day, but I hope that you are, at least things are going in the right direction. And, you know, your angels are referencing that, again, we maybe didn't realize how much pain we were in because we may have had we are a lot tougher than we give ourselves credit for. You're very welcome, hon. You are a trooper and you are a lot stronger than you give yourself credit for. And it's one of those things where, yeah, you're going to, the amount of better you will feel after all of this, because this needed to be done. And they're referencing too that this might be more of a wake-up call, that we might be adding more water and more fluids to our diet, maybe. Angels are referencing that this is actually a Kickstarter that you might start maybe taking care of yourself a little bit better. I don't want to be mean. They're making me sound mean. I'm sorry, Cora. I think you take as good as care of yourself as you can with 3 kids and everything that you have to do. So, but maybe there's a little room for adjustment, as your angels are trying to say. All right, so we are going to jump into a 10-minute sprint. And I feel bad because you're laying in the hospital. I almost want to just sit here and entertain you for a minute and just be like, hey, look, you don't have to sit there and be bored. But I do have to get work done because that is the kind of point of these sprints. Let me know. I did send the email that we talked about earlier to your email. Let me know if you're even able to use it or do with it what we're hoping you can do with it. And on that note, I will see you all in 10 minutes. All right. And in 3, 2, 1. Don't forget to mute yourself. Amy, I see you. Armin Van Buren live in, I can't pronounce it, Ibiza 2023, and I'm at the 105.55 mark. I see you, girl. I see you, baby. Shaking that. Anyway, sorry. All right, that's the end of that sprint. In that 10 minutes, I was able to get 20 pictures screen grabbed and named. It's kind of funny because I kind of really just wander, stop, and some of the like some of the, I guess, mouse drops. I think it's funny because it always reminds me of like a mic drop, but the mouse drops that it ends on like are so funny. They're just so funny, and it's just like the moms, the facial expressions, and then I think back like, oh God, I could only imagine what would happen if I did the same thing to my videos. The amount of facial expressions that I probably have in my videos, I can only imagine. But it's quite entertaining, and I'm having fun. I always have fun with this part. This is the part that I love. It's when I actually have to make the movie that I'm just like, ugh, oh my gosh, this is exhausting. So Cora came in and she said that she knows they're right. Oh yeah, I have to do this. Hold on. Remove. There we go. She knows they're right. It's time for accountability. And I just gave her some hearts. Sometimes admitting accountability is the hardest part. And then, yeah, actually, changing behavior can be the next hardest part. But just remember, anything you do for two weeks straight becomes a habit. So I've started, guys, like I chug a bottle of water every night before I go to bed. And that's one way that I've started to like moderate my water intake, because I don't necessarily drink as much water. I was kind of, as I was putting my coffee cup down, thinking like I'm kind of preaching the choir on that whole part, like, but I have been working out more with the weights. I still walk, but yeah, I've definitely picked up my routine, and I'm going to the YMCA hopefully tomorrow, if I'm not cleaning all day, because tomorrow is a deep clean day, to sign up to be able to use their pool, because I want to start being able to swim laps again. I looked at what I wanted for breakfast, trying to pick the healthier choice, except bacon. I love bacon. You know what? You can have bacon's still healthy. It's moderation. You can still have bacon. It's just have 2 strips of bacon instead of 45. But again, I am preaching to the choir. I am someone who's literally eaten like 3 avocados in the last 5 days. So yeah, I'm one to keep, and I sprinkle a little bit. I do a cracker with avocado, and then I sprinkle bacon bits on it. So yeah, I really should stop trying to preach to you, because check myself. Anyway, a couple things that I saw went off in the news that I thought you all would be interested in hearing about, or that I just wanted to talk about, because literally there's a couple things that I'm just going ha ha and throwing a hissy fit about. Number one, wow. So James Charles, Gypsy Rose, what were you guys just like listening to my YouTube channel and decided like to make my predictions come true? Like, no. The fact that Jeffree Star is now in another defamation lawsuit, James Charles. The fact that Gypsy Rose is in a whole hysterics with Ryan Anderson again. Oy vey, you guys, oy vey. Not all of my predictions have panned out when it came to these two. However, I did say that they were going to end up being in the limelight again this week. And look, lo and behold, they're in the limelight again this week. Do I like being right all the time? No, not really. But I just found it very coincidental. Every time I have asked me to give me as much bacon, they only 2 or 3 pieces. This is a monstrosity. Oh, every time you have asked them to give you as much bacon as they can, they only give you 2 or 3 pieces. Yes, honey, it's a hospital. Even they understand moderation. The only time, I'm going to tell you this, the only time that I remember actually having my food not monitored, like the quantities or whatever, not monitored, was when I was in the psych ward and I was recovering from my accident. And yeah, that was one of the few times that nobody paid attention to what I ate. I think they were just happy that I was eating, because truthfully, I kind of started eating my feelings. This is how I ended up being like 220 pounds. Granted, yes, I've lost the weight since then. However, when you eat your emotions, you can really pack on the pounds. Wow. And lithium. Lithium really helps with the whole weight gain part of it, because while I was there, that's when they put me on the 1,400 milligrams of lithium. I am so grateful that I do not have to take any of those medications anymore. I am so grateful that marijuana is hopefully going to be reclassified, because the benefits that it has done for me and my liver and my kidneys. Yeah, I used to just think that my lower backache was like a normal lower backache. It wasn't until I got off of the psych meds, all of them, that ache went away. And then I realized that was my kidneys the whole time for like 20 years. Why didn't I'm still amazed I didn't have any kidney problems. Hours after you made that beauty drama prediction, I saw the James Charles thing and I was like, seriously, I did the same thing. I was just like, okay, either YouTube is listening to me and just like pushed it because it heard me in the algorithm, or wow, my prediction is head on. So we'll have to see what happens, but yeah. And also the way it's panning out, it looks like the whole Diddy thing might end up straight down the middle. Like I said, it might end up. However, the spider web of information that's starting to come out in regards to, let's just say, the people that are coming out of the woodwork to be witnesses, it's starting to expose how much people in the industry like that use people who supposedly have bad reputations to do the things that they want them to do in order to keep themselves clean. And if anything, this is just going to reveal a very, very dark underbelly to the industry that a lot of us already knew about. But it's more going to confirm it than anything. Also, isn't it interesting that I mentioned the Epstein files as well, and why they haven't come out with the Epstein files? And they're doing it again. This has happened with me. This has happened with other creators. It is StreamYard and YouTube. You guys notice that I'm probably glitching? That is because StreamYard and YouTube are working together to literally glitch anybody who is talking about the deeper person. They are literally doing it on purpose. StreamYard and YouTube are working together to try to glitch anybody out who starts talking about and it's happened to everybody. I predicted this last time too. I said, you want to talk about a conspiracy right there? There's your conspiracy. And it happens again. It happened to Andy on his show. It happened to Indy Signor. It happened to a couple other people who tried to talk about it. And YouTube and StreamYard are working together to try to silence creators. It is unbelievable. And I can't believe that it just proved and happened again. And every time it happens, I'm going to shout it out, because StreamYard and YouTube, yeah, I am going to shout it out, because maybe it'll get around eventually. It seems like whenever D word, the diddler, that one. And I guarantee if I mention it again, you will watch me go glitchy. It's happening to everybody. That one, I don't even want to put it in the comments because I'm afraid of what they would do if you put it in the comments. But it's happened to multiple creators, and even Andy called it out, because he said in his thing too that every time he starts talking about it, his stuff starts glitching. And I swear that StreamYard and YouTube are working together to try to block stuff on that. And it's absolutely unbelievable. Same with the Mr. EP files that we're all waiting on. But if you heard, as soon as I came out and asked, like, where are they? Like Pam Bondi released in a press conference, and this was last week, that there's so many videos that's why it's taking so long. They're going through all the video evidence and literally just making sure that the victims are not going to be like, yeah. And that I can understand why it's taking a while. For any of us who know how long it takes to edit a video and go through a video and have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that nobody's in it that might accidentally be revealed. And look, I'm getting glitched again. How about that? I start talking about this topic and there goes the glitch. And we're going to keep testing this theory because I swear that StreamYard and YouTube are working together to silence creators. And in considering how much we pay StreamYard and how much we pay YouTube, they shouldn't be able to silence us. Because the fact that I pay money to be on this platform gives me the right to be able to have free speech, because I'm not saying anything that isn't fact. And it's the same thing that they did with Biden. Like, I fully believe that YouTube and StreamYard were behind the entire conspiracy of covering up the truth about Biden. And as I talk about that, boom, I'm getting glitched again. StreamYard and YouTube keep proving my point. Keep proving exactly what I'm saying, YouTube and StreamYard. Keep glitching me out every time I talk about these topics and just prove my point. Thank you so much. I love it when the AI is so dumb that it literally does exactly what you want it to do when you want it to do it. So on that note, now that we've tested that hole, because I guarantee you guys, through the entire sprint, not going to be a single glitch. Not one. Why? Because we're not talking about things that StreamYard and YouTube don't want you talking about. And on that note, we're going to jump into a 20-minute sprint. Because here's the funny thing, guys. As soon as I said that, what happens? My Wi-Fi starts glitching on my end. Now I'm understanding what's going on here. It's like YouTube and StreamYard's warning of like, hey, stop talking about what you're talking about or else we're going to kick you off. So that's very interesting. Very interesting. And there's my conspiracy for the day. I will see you all in 20 minutes. In 3, 2, 1. And don't forget to mute yourself. that's the end of that sprint. So I was able to get 36 photos screenshotted and named and labeled with notes from the voiceover that I'm going to do. So I've been busy. Cora disappeared for a minute. She had, if it'll click, there we go. Cora disappeared for a minute. She'll be back because she had a phone call. So I am just going to ramble your guys' little ears off because, you know, that's why half of you come in anyway. If my Wi-Fi doesn't glitch out because it's trying to prove a point. So there has been a lot of controversy lately since I cover a lot of Disneyland and a lot of Disney and a lot of Iger and all that conversation. I figured that I'd give in my 2 cents on Wi-Fi. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Sorry, y'all. I'm yelling at my Wi-Fi. We'll see what happens. It's throwing a fit at me. And with how many warning signs I'm getting, it might kick me. So if I get kicked, hey, just hold tight. I'll be back. All right. So Disneyland has decided that they, a couple weeks ago in their shareholders announcement, they talked about how they were going to be contributing a couple $1 million to Disneyland parks. Okay. Now, my happy little heart thought, well, hey, yay, they're going to improve all the things that they destroyed during whatever initiative that they were trying to checkbox mark for whatever reasons with political agenda behind it. Anyway, well, lo and behold, that they're deciding to open a new park in Dubai. Yes, Dubai. Am I surprised? Not really. Dubai has been, there's an island out there that I know of a very wealthy millionaire that is trying to build it up to be like the Las Vegas or a bigger version of Las Vegas for Dubai and to bring an entirely new level of industry to India. Do I think it's a good idea? That depends. Personally, I'm like, why? Unless the people of Dubai are actually paying for it, what's the point? Nobody in America is going to be able to get to it. There's so many controversial reasons why nobody in America is going to be able to get to it, number one. Number two, most Americans are so dead broke, we can't even get to the theme parks that are currently in America, let alone get to a theme park that is outside of America. Will things change in the next 10 years? We'll see. My angels keep saying yes. We'll have to actually see what happens. Now, when I actually look at the park of Dubai, I'm hearing that ultimately, for some reason, here's the thing, and I need to do some research because I need to double check on this, because a couple of years ago, I remember hearing about this whole island in Dubai and this, whole want and need to turn this island into a whole new paradise. Well, what I also remember hearing, and this is why I remember hearing about it, was the fact that there were a couple, like 5 or 6 different hotels that big name hotels, because they were going to try to make it like the Las Vegas of India or of Dubai, that actually pulled simply because the cost and the cost to build versus the promised income from it that you're going to make didn't seem to weigh out or equal out. So there's something about this where I'm like, will Disneyland's name pull tourists? Yes. Will it pull tourists the way Hong Kong Disney does and Japan, the Japanese Disney? I've not seen it, actually, you guys. What they're showing me is this is going, like, truthfully, when I look at it in the long term, I'm seeing an abandoned theme park where like sand is literally overtaking Dumbo. It's actually quite sad, the vision that I see from it. Once I saw this vision, I decided to dive into it to find out, is Disney going to be dumping all this money that they promised during the shareholders meeting into this park that I now see is probably going to fail? I was happy to find out that no, they're not. They're actually, it is kind of like other, like the Ferrari park out there and a couple other theme parks out there where they're paying for the rights, and then they basically fund it and build it. Do I think this is a good idea? Absolutely. Hong Kong Disney and I think it was Japanese Disney did not make the changes to their theme parks the way American theme parks did in regards to Splash Mountain. And they have not seen a drop in their attendance. They have actually seen an uptick in attendance, and Splash Mountain is still one of those most popular rides. Jessica Rabbit doesn't have a jacket on. She's actually in her actual dress. So it's kind of funny because other theme parks in other countries have actually stayed true to the creative side and the fun side of Disney, and it seems that their parks are flourishing far better than the American parks. And it would be wise of Disney to follow suit of maybe the predecessors in which they sold the name to and have actually respected it more than the namesake holders. Just saying. Anyway, on that note, shifting into another what I think is disaster is the Met Gala. I'm really wondering when the Met Gala is going to cease to exist. Every year, we hear about this. Like, first of all, I truly believe Anna Windsor. Everybody says Anna Windsor doesn't give out her own comments, yada, yada. No. I think Anna Windsor is smart enough now to know how to play social media. 20 years ago, I would believe that maybe she didn't have any say or didn't say anything in regards to social medias or things that leak in the press. Nowadays, sorry, that woman has been playing this game for far too long for me to honestly believe that she hasn't learned how to use social media to her advantage, and that some of these leaks are not straight up coming from her. Okay. Number two, I really don't get the Met Gala. I really don't get the whole theme of it. I really don't get the whole point of it. It used to be actual fashion. What I saw walking on the red carpet, first of all, the theme didn't even make any sense. Second of all, the one person that the theme matched, and I'm horrible with names. I wish I could remember his name. Go on TikTok. Everybody's complaining about it. Wasn't even invited. Third of all, it seemed like if you're going to have somebody like Whoopi Goldberg walking your red carpet after the year that she's had, honey, I'm seriously going to question your choices. So Anna Windsor, now I understand why I've never looked at you for fashion sense. And the fact that you're like, and here's another thing. I don't really give a damn what that woman says, because evidently she hates people that wear all one color. However, she wore all one color on the red carpet. Interesting, she actually said that statement while wearing monochromatic tones. Anyway, it's just proof to me how much the Met Gala disaster and how much it has been mocked, ridiculed, and made fun of is proof to me just how much Hollywood is failing and how much it is cataclysmic. Like the whole facade that the whole want of having this facade of this persona that you want the public to believe, while at the same time sitting on something like The View and spewing the hatred out of your mouth that you do, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm not going to believe any of these people are dignified influence, like people that I should honestly watch walking down a red carpet. Like seriously, every single person that came out on the red carpet, I either went, who's that, or ew. So Anna Windsor, I got questions about your taste, and I'm really wondering when you are going to kind of bow out and let the next generation move up. Because yeah, I mean, we're making America great again. Can we make fashion great again? Just saying. Can we make Hollywood great again? Because truthfully, all America really got in exports is weapons and entertainment. And look what's happened to our entertainment. And we already know what weapons feel. So on that note, we're going to jump into another sprint. And after this sprint, I'm actually going to be discussing a little bit about how karma. And we got 2 perfect examples of it with not only Fire Festival 2 and Letitia James. So I will see you all in 20 minutes. 20 minutes on the clock. And in 3, 2, 1. And don't forget to mute. All right, that's the end of that sprint. I have no idea how many pictures I got done. I got quite a few. We're just trucking along. How many do I have total? Let's find that out. 163 total. And it looks like I know where I started with the sprint because they're not named. So 123 since the start of this sprint, or live stream, not sprint. Same thing. Live stream, sprint, same thing. Anyway, back into our conversation of things. So first of all, I have to I'm cracking up because I'm doing episode 2 of season 2 of Dance Moms. And this is when they did the rat and the snood in the hair, like the snood that rolls up in the, anyway. And I'm cracking up because the facial expressions the moms are making in regards to the rats and the snoods and the costumes. And we're talking some amazingly monumental freeze frame time faces here. And I even got a really good, funny, a hilarious one, absolutely hilarious one of Maddie. And I actually, if I can find it, I want to show it because here's the thing. It's not very often that you see the kids being able to have fun and being kids on Dance Moms. And this picture of Maddie, I thought, I was like, girl, you are having fun with this. So we're going to add this to the screen real quick. We're going to switch like this. So I have we have this little face of Maddie that is just this. It's during one of our interview sessions. I'll have a caption for it, but I thought it was hilarious. This is the kind of stuff that I'm grabbing that I'm inevitably going to be naming and adding to the picture or video for Dance Moms. But it's funny moments like these that I crack up about. This is why I do it because. Yeah. And yes, because of the rat and the snood, we're getting some amazing facial expressions, and I can't wait to dub over them and give commentary and share because boy, do I have some notes. Anyway, I hope all of you were able to get some work done. If not, I hope you were able to get some laundry done, house cleaning, whatever it is that you're doing, dishes, doesn't matter as long as you're getting something done. I'm going to have to get coffee on that next round because guys, that was the last bit of the coffee and oh, that did not taste good. So now that I'm going to continue talking with a bad taste in my mouth, we'll go from there. So before I went to the break, just saw that. Hello, welcome back, my dear. Hello, Cora. Welcome back. I hope the phone call went well. So before we jumped into that sprint, I was ranting about how things are like karma. Karma is coming down for people that maybe didn't necessarily learn their lessons. And for Letitia James, all I'm going to say is if you haven't done your research on her yet, I highly recommend just go to YouTube, go to the YouTube search bar during the 20-minute sprint, type in Letitia James, and just wait for your YouTube feed to fill. Okay. The amount, karma, man. Turnabout's fair play. Anyway, so she's learning a hard lesson because you can't go after somebody and say they did something illegally when they actually didn't, and then come to find out that you were actually doing that same thing that you were accusing them of. Yeah, this is the year where those people are going to get sought out, found out, and hammered down. You're going to pay for what you've done. So on that note, Fire Festival 2. If you don't know what Fire Festival is, Fire Festival was a giant rave type party that was supposed to go off in some private island down in the Bahamas. The gentleman which I am not going to name his name because he honestly, we're just not going to name his name. I think my channel's been dinged enough. He got caught in fraud in regards to the first Fire Festival simply because he had people like Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, I think Hailey Bieber, these type of people promoting this festival that they weren't going to at all. They were just paid to promote it. And B, the location, the vendors, nothing had been finalized. When people got down there, I know a couple of people that actually went. There, let's just say in one of these situations, you're lucky you got money. You're very lucky, A, if you're smart and you see things before they happen, and B, you have money. The people that I know that went, they got out very quickly. As soon as they got off the bus and saw what was happening, they quickly got back on the bus and left. They were one of the first people that actually got out of that situation before everything went down. Let's just say when my friend saw the tents and she said as soon as I saw the tents and knew that we weren't getting the housing that we pretty much paid for, we knew that this was over. Like nothing was going to happen that it was promised, and they turned around and left. However, the gentleman was found to be fraudulent. He ended up spending some time in jail, having to pay the FCC, all this fun stuff. Well, when he was released, he decided that he was going to recoup or basically try to right his wrongs by doing Fire Festival too. Because, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results isn't the definition of insanity or anything, So he went ahead and tried to do a Fire Festival too. Tried to do the same thing where he tried to get a private island, tried to get all the vendors. The smart thing this time, though, is he didn't pay a bunch of famous people to promote it. He also waited on actually like full on promoting it until things were supposedly solidified. Well, fast forward to a couple weeks ago, and we come to find out that the people that were expected to be able to go to Fire Festival in a couple of weeks probably aren't going to be going, simply because, and honestly, this is what's hard for me, because I think the young man is telling the truth. It's just he's not going to be believed because of his reputation. Supposedly, the locations and the vendors that he had set up to do Fire Festival too have never heard of him, nor have ever heard of Fire Festival or anything else that was supposed to go off. The gentleman has come out and shown paperwork showing legal paperwork that was signed by multiple locations and vendors, and that it contradicts exactly what these people are saying. However, do I believe that these people definitely took his money and ran? Yes. Do I believe they did it because thought that they could do it because of his reputation? Yeah. So the last I heard is he is actually handing over all of Fire Festival to a subsidiary company, and he's relinquishing all holds ties to it, basically. And honestly, if they rename it something different than Fire Festival and they have a different name attached to all that paperwork, it probably will go off. I would, if I was him when this went off, and I said this at the beginning with him, I would have been a silent investor. I would have been there and been involved in it, but I wouldn't have exposed that I was connected to it in any way until it was actually successful. I understand why he did it, because he wanted to basically prove to his haters that they were wrong. However, if there's one thing that I've learned in life, you can't prove to your haters that they're wrong until you actually have proven to them that you're wrong, that they're wrong, or else inevitably you're just going to prove to them that they're right. So, is that what I feel like he did? Unfortunately, yes. Do I feel like this is a huge learning lesson for him to learn from? Absolutely. Do I think that this is the end of him? No. I think that he is actually being very smart. The fact that he is relinquishing, he is doing what he's doing, proves to me that he has learned something. He definitely learned something in this, or else he would still be grasping to this with the egotistical nature that he, and the narcissism that he had with the first one. So obviously there's something about this where he's learned to maybe put a little curb on his ego. However, there's still that part where it's very clear to me that he is trying to heal his ego for other people and not for himself. And that might be where he's going wrong. So Fire Festival 2, what could go wrong? And here's the thing. This is why I think that it actually got set up to fail, and why I said that if he had been a private investor and they had named it something else, it probably would have been successful. But this day and age, there's too many people out there that literally are like hate driven and just are so miserable and vindictive that watching people succeed like literally angers them. So they will go out of their way, especially for people that are trying to recoup or like prove themselves again. They'll go out of their way to basically pull the rug out from underneath them as many times as they can to be like, hey, look, see, I was right, when inevitably all that they're doing is not giving that person the opportunity and the chance to actually prove themselves. You can't push a baby down every time they get up to walk and then be like, look, my baby can't walk yet. No, because you keep pushing them down every time they stand up to walk. So, and that's what I feel like is happening with the gentleman with Fire Festival. It's kind of the same thing with there's a couple people in the industry that this is happening with. Justin Bieber is also another one. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Brett Cooper. She's doing honestly, she's getting there. She's got one more person to name before she's got every piece of the puzzle. And how do I know this? But if you haven't had a chance to go watch her series on Justin Bieber and the deep dive of it, and you'll finally understand why I say that Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, that whole generation of people are kind of stuck in the same contracts, like if you thought that Britney Spears was the only victim that came out from that generation, think again, guys. There's a reason that Taylor Swift hates Scooter Braun. There's a reason why Prince sang the song that he sang. There's a reason that Michael Jackson was stuck in the contract he was in. You guys, we can go up and down and through and inside and out of all of Hollywood and how what they did to Britney Spears, what they're doing to Justin Bieber is exactly how and what they do to people in the industry. You want to know why people end up dying or accidents happening in Hollywood? Look at the deep dive that Brett Cooper is doing with Justin Bieber. She is scraping the surface of the inklings of manipulations that go on behind the scenes when it comes to contracts, negotiations, money, people involved. And isn't it funny that Lou Taylor's name just happens to be connected yet again? Hey, Pam Bondi, can we investigate Lou Taylor and TriStar, please? Like, can we deep dive into the industry and actually get them to start investigating the manipulations of money and finances in regards to the industry? Because I guarantee you'll actually find out why Hollywood failed. Anyway, on that note, we're going to jump right into another little sprint here. On this next sprint, I actually have a new creator that I found that I'm going to give a shout out to. And actually two new creators that I'm going to give a shout out to in regards to things that I have to say. So I'm just going to delete some stuff here so I don't end up repeating myself on the next sprint. So we're going to bring this up. Actually, we're going to reset the timer first. Yes, we are. Okay, so we're going to bring this up. 20 minutes on the clock. Yeah. So first of all, if you're bored and you need something to do, open a new tab in YouTube, look up Letitia James, have a great laugh. Another thing I recommend is type in Lefties Losing It and enjoy that series as well. And I will see you all in 20 minutes. In 3, 2, 1, and don't forget to... All right. Oh, well, first of all, if you're in a certain position and you can't, don't do so. But if you can, stretch, because yeah. Oh, I definitely need to stretch on that one. So I didn't get as much done as I wanted to on that sprint, but that's because I might be moving furniture around and reorganizing, and somebody might not know it yet. So anyway, yeah, that's what I was kind of doing on my break. So I didn't get as many done as I want. However, for this entire sprint, this entire stream, that's not the right number. From here to here, I got 139 done, plus give or take a few, because there's a couple I didn't add to that file. But I'm tracking right along. I'm halfway at the halfway mark, and I have, I think, 200 items, which is about 179, about typical for what it's been averaging for these photo videos anyway. So, but we are at the end of our stream, guys. That is the end of our sprints. That is the end of this live stream. Thank you all for coming in and saying hello and letting me chit chat and talk your ear off pretty much. Future predictions to come soon. There's more going to be changing this weekend. The sun's rotation is coming in. A big solar, the big coronal hole we've been talking about that keeps causing all the earthquakes. There's a volcano off the edge of Oregon that's supposed to go off. I've got a couple predictions that are coming in that we'll have to go over them all on Monday once I get all my thoughts in order. So, but on that note, go ahead and raise your glass for me, because guys, we're going to do our end cheers. So raise your glass, and may your angels be strong. May your energies be positive, and may karma be ever in your favor. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. Oh yeah. End stream. We're professionals here.